Welcome to the Global Pulse, a short video series where our experts break down a trending topic in international business and why it matters to you.
It's a pleasure for me once again to launch this new semester's Global Pulse series. I've been torn between talking about two things. The first is tariffs, which have been so much in the news since President Trump took office. And the second is about how much America's standing in the world these days is being driven by its primacy in artificial intelligence. Then two interesting things happened at almost the same time. This gives me the opportunity to talk about both trade policy as well as AI. The first event was a little bit of theater in Colombia regarding repatriation flights of US undocumented immigrants. The second event was Chinese AI startup DeepSeek's release of its latest large language model, which led to a sell-off in tech stocks on Wall Street. I'll talk about both events and show how each is connected to US trade policy. First, Colombia. As you're probably aware, one of the things happening since President Trump took office has been the rounding up of undocumented immigrants who are being sent back to their countries of origin. Circulating images of migrants being marched to military transport planes, hands and legs in shackles, hit a nerve in Latin America. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro decided to reject two Colombia-bound aircraft with migrants and accused the US of violating their human dignity. President Trump immediately imposed tariffs of 25% on Colombian imports and threatened to raise them to 50% within a week. President Petro initially threatened retaliatory tariffs, but then capitulated and agreed to let migrant flights in. The White House then made a point of sending a message to other countries regarding what the consequences of crossing the US would be. It's not clear if this will hurt Petro politically, who's after all a former left-wing guerrilla fighter. Indeed, in one of his ex-posts during the fracas, he referred to the assassination of Salvador Allende, who's still something of a rallying cry for the left in Latin America. The left may well see Petro as having stood up to the US, however briefly, and give him some credit for this. Similarly, in Brazil, President Lula also condemned the handcuffing of deported migrants. President Trump has threatened the use of tariffs as a political tool in other instances as well, including to try and persuade Denmark to part with Greenland. It'll be interesting to see how US trade policy affects domestic politics in the Americas and elsewhere. On to DeepSeek. The company recently made news with its latest LLM. Markets have just closed on Monday and Nvidia is down more than 17%. Nasdaq is down 3%. Here are some headlines from today. CNBC has how China's new AI model DeepSeek is threatening US dominance. And the Financial Times leads with Wall Street tech stocks head for $1 trillion sell-off as DeepSeek rattles investors, and so on. The announcement is that DeepSeek's newest LLM apparently achieves performance comparable to market leaders such as ChatGPT using far fewer NVIDIA chips. According to CNBC, DeepSeek only took 2 months and less than $6 million to build using reduced capacities chips from NVIDIA. 2 months and 6 million number is eye-popping. An advance in AI may at first not seem to have much to do with trade policy. However, DeepSeek's stunning advancements, if that is indeed what they prove to be, should be viewed in the context of US trade restrictions against China. In an ever-escalating sequence of moves, both the Biden and Trump administrations have made a concerted effort to prevent the most advanced US AI technology from reaching China. These export restrictions made it imperative for China to adapt by developing its own AI capability or be left out in the cold. As the old saying goes, necessity is the mother of invention. Here, US policy helped create the necessity and provide a powerful incentive for Chinese businesses to make their own advances in AI. In summing up, we would do well to remember that all policies have both short-run and long-run consequences, as well as intended and unintended consequences. In the long run, countries affected by US trade policy have a greater ability to adopt and may move deliberately to do so. We saw this recently in Russia's skill in adapting to Western sanctions. Indeed, even since the November elections, countries have been moving to deaden the impact of a likely more protectionist US. For instance, the EU has concluded a trade deal with the Mercosur bloc of countries, updated a free trade agreement with Mexico, and entered negotiations with Malaysia, Indonesia, and others. Using tariffs as a political instrument runs the risk of weakening the rules-based international order that has served the world well for a long time now. Abandoning it would take us into uncharted waters.